All right, hello, good morning, trade pros. Welcome to our morning market update for Wednesday, January 24th, 2018. This is George from Trade Pro Academy. We got a few things to cover today. A little bit of a shorter update is in the deck of cards for you today. However, there are some things that we need to discuss in a little bit more detail, some developments and why markets are continuing to press a little bit higher on the equity front. Equities are up, gold is up, oil is up. You don't see gold and equities up too often, but it does happen like today. So today they're up, and they're up a fair amount while the US dollar is weak. And we'll talk about why that US dollar is weak and why that transpires into strength for other markets. Okay, so first and foremost, let's start by a scan of some key earnings that came out last night. Johnson & Johnson down 4.3%, again on tax change write-offs. Kimberly-Clark up 0.8%, topping the profit expectations. P&G, Procter & Gamble, that stock is down 3%. Texas Instruments, remember they used to make the TI calculators, the graphing ones? Do they? Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Victoria still uses one. Texas Instruments down 7% because the only calculators they could sell is to this guy over here, Victoria. And United Continental down 6.4%. Verizon down half a percentage point. So earnings, pretty much only one company beats their earnings and does positively. The other companies have done very negative, so they're down 3-4 percentage points. So that's a pretty sluggish start to the equity market. However, equities are shrugging that off and they're trading to highs. Let's take a tour around the world. Japan's down 0.8%, down almost a whole percentage point. Hong Kong's up 0.1%. We that went out temporarily. In Asia, the equities were a little bit stronger, where in London they were a little bit weaker. So that's, if you compare that to the past couple sessions, a lot of the gains have come from Europe. So it's interesting to see Europe being down and the U.S. equities press a little bit higher overnight. All right, futures in the United States, Dow Jones is up 2%, 0.2% rather. S&P is up 0.2. Nasdaq is also up 0.2%. And crude oil is also up 0.2%. So they like that 0.2 number all across the board for the U.S., including crude. Gold prices are up 1 percentage point, and Bitcoin is down 1.1%. We've covered Bitcoin in a lot of extent the last couple sessions here, and also we've kind of provided a lot of good analysis on Instagram. So check out our Instagram handle, TradeProAcademy.com. On Instagram, you can find a lot of good analysis there. We're going to commit to posting a lot of valuable information on there as well. All right, so Bitcoin is finding some support. I think it's going to bounce back here. It has a pretty key support level. Resistance to the upside is around 14 to 15,000. So you're clear for a little bit of a rally. And then we'll see up top on how that volume develops as Bitcoin rallies. And we'll see how the 14,000, 15,000 levels handled. Because then around there, you could start to see a bit of a sell-off once again. Very important between now and the next couple of days to see how volume develops. That's going to be your catalyst and leader. All right, here's some cool stats. The S&P has climbed 6.2% so far this year at the close of 2840 on Tuesday. That's an astronomical number. That's pretty much a year's worth of gains in just a single month, basically, so far. The month's not even over. So S&P 500 has the best start to the new year since 1987. Contrast that to the previous year where it had the worst start to equity history ever. So we're seeing some upside here. It's very bullish. Equities continue to the upside. All right. S&P, actually, it's an interesting stat. S&P is above every single one of the analyst targets for this year already. So what are they doing? Bank of America is upping their target for 2018 to 3,000 from 2,800. So that's pretty aggressive. But analysts can't keep up with the pace of gains here in the S&P. A lot of this is led by the fact that you're getting strong earnings coming out, and a lot of this is also led by the fact that the U.S. dollar is weak. Why is the weak dollar bullish equities? Well, because as the U.S. dollar sells off and equities go up, think about this. You might make more money trading your stocks and you get that cash, but if that cash could buy you less things from abroad because your dollar is weaker, your net wealth effect hasn't actually increased. So if the dollar continues to drop and the U.S. and the equities go up, at the end of the day, they negate one another and there isn't any wealth creation. So that's one thing I'll look for. Hang on one sec. This microphone's really loud in my ear. This guy talks probably faster and louder than me, and that's upsetting. I can't be overpowered. On my own morning market update. So look for that. I think U.S. dollar weakness has driven a lot of the gains in gold. It's driven a lot of the gains in equities, a lot of the gains in oil. Keep an eye out on the dollar. That's kind of what's moving markets these days. When the dollar bottoms out, you'll see a little bit of a rebound across the board. All right, weekly oil inventories. Last night, we saw crude oil have a surprise build of inventory. This means that it's bearish the price of crude, although crude shook it off pretty resiliently. We had a 4.8 million barrel build in the API statistics versus 5.1 negative last month. And in addition to that, gasoline had a 4 million barrel build of gasoline storage as well. So you had a build in gasoline, a build in crude oil, and market continues to rally. Very interested to see what happens in this morning's update at 10:30. We have the crude oil number coming out, and we're going to be trading that in the live room. So join on board and see how you trade crude. Crude oil could single-handedly make you your whole weekly target on these inventory statistic days in one session, in 1 hour, less than an hour. So it's very opportunistic. Last but not least, in terms of the U.S. dollar, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said the weak greenback or the weak dollar is obviously good for U.S. trade. Why is it good for U.S. trade? When the dollar's cheap, you can export your goods and they appear to be cheaper to international buyers. However, what really hurts your economy is when you're trying to import, you have to pay a lot more dollars to get the same amount of goods because your dollars are worth less. So that's how it affects international trade. On those comments from Steve Mnuchin, the dollar dropped even more. And Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross said the following in Davos. He said more trade measures are coming up. And what does trade measure mean? So you guys remember Donald Trump slapped a tariff on washing machines, imports, and solar panels, 20%. And there's more coming. So it looks like this trade war is going to intensify while this U.S. dollar is dropping. And that's what the government's going for. They like that strategy. It's a terrible strategy, but it's a strategy nonetheless. And we're going to hear more about that. Stay tuned. In Davos, President Trump's going to address Davos on Friday. And let's be very careful what he says, what takes place. There could be some new protectionist measures being announced, some new tariffs. Keep an eye out. Right now, the market's going up. Don't fight it. But just keep an eye out for wild card comments that could cause some volatility and a bit of a sell-off. So you guys take care. Good luck today. Trade cautiously, trade carefully. Apologize about the audio issue a little bit earlier on, but we got it resolved. See you guys in the trading room. Today's going to be one heck of a day. A lot of opportunities coming up, and I want you guys to take part. Sign up. The trading room comes with a Day Trader Pro subscription, along with the Elite also. And I'd love to see you guys on board. Give it a shot. You get a 14-day money-back guarantee. It's risk-free. It's the only thing you're going to find risk-free in the markets. Take care. Have a good day. See you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. All the best. Trade careful. Manage your risk. Trade like a trade pro. See you guys. Take care. No chair spin. I don't have a chair today. Victoria's using it. See you later, guys.